Hi everyone, welcome to my video today, and if you're new, welcome to this channel. So in this video, I wanted to talk a little about how spirituality can be scientific, or more specifically, how healing ourselves on, a spiritual or energetic level can actually be scientific, even if we don't quite understand exactly, how it works at this point in time. So there's this idea in psychology, it's called the mind-body problem, where, we're not really sure how the consciousness relates to the brain, or if the mind and the brain are separate entities. So, there's this problem where, there's no place we can look in the brain and say, oh, this is where the consciousness enters, or anything like that. So, in this day and age, people might think, okay, well, it's just the brain having reactions to stimuli. But, there's more to it than that, because this is still, a recognized problem of understanding where we're not sure, how the mind and the body are related. So that's, for me, is where different spiritual or techniques or different kinds of energy healing, if you want to call it that, come into play, because it's bridging the gap between our current understanding of the brain and consciousness and what we may understand about healing in the future. So there's this idea called top-down processing. So when we see something or we think something, we're not seeing every little detail and drawing a conclusion from that. We're actually, the brain makes assumptions based on past experiences. So for an example, one popular or famous thing in psychology is when you see like a word. So let's say you see the word black, but it's written in pink. So when you look at that, your brain is automatically going to say black because it sees the word, not pink, because that's how top-down processing works, is your brain makes assumptions versus just, sensing every little thing and then taking that in. So that's kind of the idea of one way that the mind is influencing the brain, or how the mind influences the body, or how the brain, is making assumptions. So another example is the way that painkillers work is that they don't actually stop the pain. They stop the perception of pain from reaching the brain. So they're blocking, the synapses from delivering there's pain in the body to the brain, which then makes us feel that sense of pain. So they're stopping the perception of pain. They're not actually stopping the pain. So, the way our brain works, we don't fully understand it. And that's why healing ourselves in a spiritual way is really just bridging that gap between the understanding we currently have in science and what we may understand in the future as technology evolves. So as far as the spiritual work of the way that it works is the subconscious perceptions, our subconscious perceptions are influencing our perception of reality based on the top-down processing of what we already believe. So if you can change what you believe, then you change what you see, because the mind is influencing our reality of what we perceive. So in other words, when we're children up until around like age 13, we're in the theta brainwave, which is the sort of dreamy state where we're taking in information, absorbing it, and that's creating our foundation of what we believe is reality. So two different healing techniques are soul retrieval and theta healing. So theta healing is you're actually able to go in and change your subconscious belief patterns that you developed in childhood or at other points in time, which I'll talk about in a second. And then so you're able to shift your beliefs, so that when you're, believe something, you can't see something you don't believe. So that's the idea of reprogramming the subconscious. So in soul retrieval, this famous woman, Sandra Ingerman, in her book Soul Retrieval, she talks about how she went to get an EEG, which measures your brain waves, and while she's performing a soul retrieval, a soul retrieval, her brainwave is the theta brainwave. So again, it's the same healing brainwave, two completely sort of unrelated healing techniques, but I found them both separately and was able to combine them and realize, okay, so the theta healing, the theta wave, theta brainwave is really important for healing the subconscious mind. Because what is happening is that the mind is influencing the brain, and we don't understand how they exactly connect. But if you want to see sort of the subconscious mind as the spirit, or more awareness of things that we may not consciously perceive, then if we're able to change those subconscious patterns, we're able to change what we see. And the brain can only know what it knows. So if you're changing the beliefs in the brain, it's not going to see something that it's not already programmed into it. So that's the idea of reprogramming the subconscious mind. So in that way, the spiritual work of changing the perceptions of reality, changing the beliefs, for lack of a better word. So the patterns, when you see something, are you seeing it? What sort of filter are you seeing it through? So lastly, I wanted to talk about how this can extend into other lives, since it is, the spirituality that we're talking about. So if the mind is influencing the brain, we don't understand how the mind is connected to the brain. So if the mind is our greater awareness, or maybe our total subconscious, you could call that the spirit, and that's the spirit goes through different lifetimes. So, if the mind can influence the body, so we may have certain phobias, or we may feel drawn to certain people because we feel like we've known them before. So what the spirit really is just like a manifestation of the subconscious mind that we don't fully understand. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them below, and I will see you soon. Bye.